Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the first meeting of 2022 for the Wisconsin chapter of the National Railway Historical Society. I'm so delighted that you're here. I'm Mike Hiawathas. I am your chapter president. And whether you are here in person with us or via Zoom, we're so delighted that you made it here. And at this point, I just have a couple of brief announcements. I'd like to point out that we do have a few new members, and we'll start with the gentleman who joined at our meeting last month, Eric Hoyam. He's actually here in the room tonight. He's back again for more. So thank you, Eric, for joining the Wisconsin chapter of the NRHS. Also, we have new members: Ed Pavlovic from Gurnee, Illinois, Glenn Schaefer from Brookfield, Wisconsin, Dean Savola from New Richmond, Wisconsin, Eric Hendrickson of St. Augustine, Florida, James Westover of Wales, Wisconsin, David Perkins of Huntsville, Alabama. He was a member when he lived in Wisconsin some years ago, so it's great to welcome Mr. Perkins back. David Chenault from Keller, Texas, and Bon French from Glen Ellen, Illinois. So shout out and great applause to those new members. And I also noticed a few moments ago, I checked the chapter's PayPal, and Gary Udenhoven, he joined today. So that's one more person to add to the list. It's not official yet because we haven't done all the paperwork, but he's another new member. So thank you all for joining. If you have not joined the Wisconsin chapter of the National Railway Historical Society, it's oh so easy to do. Just go to our website, www.nrhswis.org, and click on the Join and Renew button, and it's simple. It's a $21 payment. PayPal administers our payments for us, so we get the money right away. It goes directly into our account. It's really kind of a neat thing. Or if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, you can send us a check, and you'll see that noted on the website as well. And Keith is here accepting payments. Keith Schmidt, our vice president, is accepting payments for memberships and the like. Back in November, we made a trip to the Christopher Farm and Gardens, the Christopher Transportation Museum on the grounds of the Christopher Farm and Gardens. And they do not charge admission there, but they recommend that we make a donation. Anybody who goes there, the place is not typically open to the public. They recommend that a donation is made to Fresh Meals on Wheels in Sheboygan. And we got a nice thank you note back from Fresh Meals on Wheels acknowledging the chapter's donation of $350. So that's a great thing. Yeah, well, how about if we put me up on screen here? Can you guys see me? No, you can't. No, you can't. That's interesting. We see Dan Murray under his blanket, but that's. Oh, did he go? Did he go away? Okay. Well, I don't know. It's working off that other monitor. I see you. So we gotta. You know, we're still working this stuff out. that's the.
No, we can see you fine, Mike.
So, yeah. Well.
We can see you, Mike.
Those. What did he do?
We must have been so quick. I missed it. This is getting to be kind of a little distracting.
It's only in here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in any event, you all can hear me. Raise your hand if you can hear me.
In here or
on Zoom? Yeah. They're. Okay. So everybody can hear me. Well, wonderful. All fingers, please. Thank you. This is a great time for technology. We're still trying to figure this out, but we are. Wait till next month. Well, Keith is going to be running the meeting next month. So, those are the most important announcements, acknowledging the new members, imploring those who are not members to please show your support. If you come to our meetings, whether in person or virtually by Zoom, and you're not yet a member, now's the perfect time to become a member, simply by going to our website and making that quick, easy payment of $21. Thank you all. So, I guess we're going to get on with the program. Mr. Baker, are you ready to go? I'm ready for you. So, Bob Baker, I'm going to explain. Bob is past president of the Wisconsin chapter of the NRHS. He and his brother Al were photographers back in the 1960s. They shot profusely around Wisconsin. Bob is the author of several books, including Wisconsin Rails and Wisconsin Rails 2, published by the Wisconsin chapter of the National Railway Historical Society. He is the author of a new book called Milwaukee Road, Photographing the Route of the Hiawathas. And it's brand new, published by Four Ways West Publications. Bob has these for sale today. And for anybody who's in the room here, you can see Bob after the meeting, hand him $60, and there's no shipping involved. So you can take a book home. For those on Zoom, send me an email, and I will forward it to Bob. And my address is president@nrhswis.org. So with that, I think we're going to ask Bob to come up to the stage here and sit down for a moment and get himself comfortable, and we are going to get right into this in just a moment.
So you guys can all hear me? Am I too loud, too soft?
Sound good.
Well, you know,
Sounds fine.
It's kind of funny here. I was a member of the NRHS for a long time, and it's not like this anymore. Yeah, I mean, like it was. I mean, we'd come here and we'd all move the tables, and then we'd, you know, get the chairs up close so everyone could do it, and we'd have a regular meeting where people would ask what's going on and this and that. But it's just, you know, this COVID stuff I know has changed a lot of stuff in that. I kind of miss the old days. I miss the old people too. There's a lot of people that used to be members of this organization that have passed on. There's a few people here that I've seen tonight and I know, but you know, guys like Bob McLeod, you know, I used to bring him here. You go way back when, Arnie Burkhart, you know, and all that stuff. So that has nothing to do with the Milwaukee Road, but you know, it's taking a little getting used to me in this day, and you know, I just don't know. I just hope that none of you have had the COVID and have had to endure some of the stuff that I know that you hear on the news and all that stuff. But you know, this book was a product of the COVID, and it wasn't going to happen. When I first, you know, got involved with Joe Shine, who is Four Ways West, and then Joe's out in California, and I mean, he's done a lot of books over the years, and you know, he basically said, "Well, Bob, I'd like to, but I can't." And one year he said, "Well, okay, you want to do the book?" And so here I had all these slides, okay? So, you know, all these slides had to be scanned. And so I sent them out there, and it's, you know, went out in the mail, and he scanned them all. And, you know, quite frankly, you know, there was enough photos in there to probably do 2 books, but I don't know if there'll be a second book. But you know, the thing of it is that this book kept going forward in fits and starts and that, and you I had to learn a lot of new technology in that. Mike, you mentioned about Wisconsin rails. The old days, they had these big blue boards where, and you had to get it, about the only computer stuff you could do is you could typeset the type, and everything else had to be scanned. In fact, the original scans were immersed in oil. It was amazing, how far the technology has come and all that stuff and that. But, let's talk about the Milwaukee Road. I mean, the Milwaukee Road, if you're from, the Midwest, and let's zoom into Wisconsin, southeastern Wisconsin, Milwaukee. I mean, there's a lot of Milwaukee Road in the area that, people saw every day. They, saw the trains, the passenger trains before Amtrak, the freight trains that used to go, in the orange and black, and the big shops in the valley. They used to have 10,000 people that worked down there. That's amazing, and you can't even tell where it was anymore, except for the place where Cutoff Tower is, and it's not really that way. But enough of that. We had a lot of good photographers in this project and that, and I see him here tonight. I know Tom Hoffman's here. Hi, Tom. How are you? Tom is here. Here comes Don and Debbie. I remember Don and Debbie. But Tom's picture is on the cover. And
You must have hit something, Bob.
oh, well, okay. I don't know what I hit. See, that's the whole thing about this technology here. If I can screw it up, I will. That's why you guys are all here to help me through this and that. But, the Milwaukee Road, the focal point of the Milwaukee Road for the bakers, though, was in Racine, Wisconsin. And Racine had a branch that, was the old Racine, Mississippi, way back when. But it went out to Sturtevant, and, we were living up on the west side of Racine, and every Sunday night, the switcher would come out and pick up a whole bunch of cars for Racine. And it's hard to believe. I mean, there's absolutely no railroad business in Racine today at all. I don't think so, but there was one customer. I think he's gone. But the thing that you had was all these the switch engine. I always thought it was a waste because they came and did went out to Sturtevant, a light engine. Then they brought the train back, and that I thought it was kind of a waste. I didn't know why they couldn't start at Sturtevant and bring it all in and that, but I guess that was union rules in those days. They had to start in Racine and that. But there's I know where all the tracks used to be, and that it's hard to see where the Milwaukee Road was in Racine. Went out and crossed the North Shore at Racine Junction, and at Racine, and then it went out across the Northwestern at Waxdale, and then it actually crossed the Northwestern into Racine too. They had the freight line and the passenger line and that. So if I'm rambling, just tell me to stop. But there's a lot of memories, lots of memories and that, and going and taking pictures. I went to Marquette University for a while, and I remember seeing the west end of the depot. I mean, I remember the Cannonball. Cannonball was a train that came in, into Milwaukee every day. It was a commuter train from Watertown, and Watertown was just 40, 50 miles west, and it hardly ever had anybody running on the train, but it had to run, and they finally discontinued it. And the last day, there was a lot of people riding it and chasing it and all that stuff. And you know, the people thought that it would be good to keep going to Watertown. How you remember the Amtrak test run that they ran? In fact, it has a Milwaukee Road connection too, because they had that SPV 2000, and then they had, I believe it was a Stanley Hillman business car that had to run because the train circuit, because of train length, they couldn't do one car. They had to have two cars to protect the crossing circuits and that. So, okay, well, let's just go and start looking at these pictures. You know, a lot of them, all of them are in the book. So if you buy the book, you'll be able to get it. And one of the first pictures I have here is of the westbound sprint trains. And the sprint trains ran between, you know, Bensonville and Minneapolis, St. Paul. And they ran with a government grant. And they had a, you know, basically it was a dedicated piggyback service. And it ran and on expedited schedule and all that stuff. I don't think it stopped to do any additional business, but you know, you can see a picture of Tunnel City, and Tunnel City is, you know, a unique place because you know, not only did the, you know, Milwaukee Road have a tunnel at Tunnel City, the Northwestern had a tunnel at Tunnel City, and there was actually a third tunnel that was that collapsed when they were building it, and so this is the west end of Tunnel City, and you can see an old telltale here. So someone happened to be riding on the top there, you know, get a little flash on their back, and they, you know, drop down so they didn't get hurt going through the tunnel and that. You can see that it's milepost 244 too. But if you tried to go there today, I haven't been there in a while, but I'm told you can't even get there because this is a giant sand pit now. And, you know, the sand pit, I don't even know if it's still operating. The kind of frac sand was real busy, and then it kind of, you know, fell off, and I don't know if it's still going or anything. But, you know, you can see the west end here. On the east end, I actually went through the east end and, you know, to the east end, and there's actually the names of the people who built the Milwaukee Road in Wisconsin on the tunnel. And they're all their names are on there. I don't have that picture, I believe. Let's just go to the next one here. Guess what? You know, I love the Northwestern, right? So why do we go to, you know, Green Bay? We usually went to see the Northwestern, and there you can see the, this is the Green Bay station, and there's a couple of GP35s, and they're going northbound through the depot and that, and the Milwaukee Road had a, you know, a couple of different ways that they came into, you know, the Green Bay over the years in that, and this is one of their later moves. This might be a local too, but this also was the passenger station for all the 400s that used to run up on the Northwestern and that. So I have been out to La Crosse several times, and the Northwestern and the Milwaukee Road paralleled each other on their way into La Crosse, and there's a big valley here. You can see some of the bluffs in the background and that. Here's an eastbound train that is going to Milwaukee, just come out of La Crosse with some GE units in that. And one of the things that the Milwaukee Road did is the Milwaukee Road had a penchant for renumbering their locomotives. They always seemed to renumber their locomotives, and it made kind of difficult identifying what the actual models were on some of these trains, pictures and that. But here you see some GEs. You didn't see GEs around here too often. Milwaukee Road, bought some GEs, and they bought them, and they didn't know how to keep them maintained. And so a lot of them didn't really, last very long, and they actually had to, put them on the sidelines because they weren't very efficient. So this is at Zenda, Wisconsin. There was a commuter train that lasted, I forget what year it ended, but there was a commuter train that ran between Chicago and Walworth. And, Zenda is on the line to Madison. And here you see one of the commuter trains, and there's some engines that two of the mass transit districts for Chicago bought for the Milwaukee Road, and they leased to them. And because the Milwaukee Road was getting to the point where their regular engines weren't very, in good shape in that. But is a westbound in the afternoon. It's kind of funny because this is the route of the trains that went to Madison and Janesville. I don't know if anyone happened to ride. I remember the Lake Country Limited. The Lake Country Limited ran between the east side of Janesville and into Chicago, and it was one of those trains that Amtrak ran, and they were hoping that they could get piggyback business and freight business, and the freight. They used the freight more than actually I think the passengers ran, but that's another story. Now, in this next picture, we see the stop boards stopped against the crossing. In Watertown, the Northwestern and the Milwaukee Road crossed. And the Northwestern had come down from Fond du Lac and probably was going to Janesville and doing some switching in between and that. And so he had to stop, and the Milwaukee Road had the priority over the junction and that. And you don't see it here, but there was a nice depot at Watertown that the Hiawathas used to stop at, and that was the termination also of the Cannonball. Another story that again, I'm rambling around here, but the Northwestern abandoned this line, and they actually took out the diamonds, and they couldn't run there because they were running another train, to Jefferson Junction. But there we go. We see this train probably headed towards Milwaukee, going eastbound, looking north. Now this is somewhere up, north of Green Bay, and this is a very unusual thing because this thing was just on the side of the road, and it's an old Milwaukee Road RPO, and it was just we happened upon that, and took a picture of it, and that. I don't know if somebody had bought it and just put it on the side, and was going to fix it up and that, but that's up near Crevitz, and this whole thing was, I'm sure it's not there anymore. So we saw that car near Crevitz, but we're now in Iron Mountain, Antwine, Michigan area. And that was the iron mining country and that. And the iron ore deposits, there was a joint operation with the Northwestern and the Milwaukee Road. And here's a bunch of Milwaukee Road cars, iron ore cars, being switched by a FM unit. And where were the FM units built? Beloit. You don't win anything, but it's good. Yeah, you guys are smart. You remember, and that. But this picture, showed the Milwaukee Road had a bunch of lines in the iron country that they shared with the Northwestern. This was also the route of the Copper Country Limited, which went all the way up to I think it was Champion or somewhere around there and that, but no, it wasn't Champion. But Calumet, okay, thank you. And but I do have a story to, and somebody also remembered them that in my days of chasing the Milwaukee Road, one night we were at the Milwaukee Depot, and here comes this long passenger train in, and there's this baggage car, and there was a band playing music in the baggage car, and in the baggage car was people dancing, of course, but this was one of those ski trains that went up there, and they went up there, and I'm sure no one was drunk, but but they all seemed like they were having a good time, and they stopped there for a while, and I think they probably changed crews and went up towards Green Bay and eventually up into the Iron Mountain area, and had a good weekend of skiing in that. Okay. Well, this is actually rather timely. I don't know how many of you get out. I haven't been out to Brookfield in the last month or two in that, but I've been following the updates from Andy and all the other people about the Brookfield Depot. Well, here's the westbound Cannonball, and it's actually running on the eastbound track, but over to the right is now actually, they built a little platform, and that's going to be where the Brookfield Depot now will sit and stand. It's there, okay? And you know what? I'm told there's going to be a place you can sit out and have coffee. And you know what? That'd be worth a trip out to Brookfield just like that. And then, another story, and you tell me if I'm jabbering too much, but there's another good friend of mine and a friend of the society, Jerry Hilton. I think you all remember Jerry. He is now in nursing home, and he and his wife had to relocate, but this place in Brookfield was called Hilton's Hill, and there's a place that Jerry used to stand up there and shoot pictures, and he'd stand up there and the Amtraks and the Milwaukee Roads and the freights, and sometimes they'd pass and that, but it was always Hilton's Hill, and I don't know if you can still do that because I think they're building some other houses up there now, but we actually would go out and also follow the line that went over to Waukesha. Remember, there was a line that separated at Waukesha, or at Brookfield, that went over to Waukesha, ended up going to Whitewater, and then ended up in Janesville, and that was eventually that whole line was given up, and short line operators, Wisconsin Calumet, Wisconsin Southern, and that. But the last time I checked at this place, there were in the bushes. There was still some of the original rail that was in the trees, and I see some heads nodding that the rail is still there. And again, that actually was on the original line, of the, Milwaukee and Mississippi that went out towards Madison and that. So this one is, reminds me of, another friend, Bob Fergie. Bob Fergie took this picture, and this is at Lannon, but this train is derailed, and they had a plow extra that they called out, and they went aground, and the guys were probably cursing by why the train went off the rail and that, and I think they backed it up and they just put it right back in there. But Bob Fergie was out there this day taking the pictures. There was an interesting book. Is it still available, The Bug Line? I don't know. Did you?
Great bike trail.
It's a good bike trail, yes it is. But The Bug Line was written with the bike trail in mind, but it has some of the old stuff and that. So, now, this picture is, taken somewhere between Milwaukee and Portage, and you can just see the long train and the F units. The F units, we got actually sick and tired of seeing F units in Milwaukee because Milwaukee was the home terminal for the F units, and they didn't want to send them too far down the line, because they would always, get fouled up and have to be repaired. In later years, they actually didn't even use the F units. They actually had a lot of leased units. They bought the B&O units, some other Masabi units and that. But you can see here that this picture, believe it or not, I'm not sure exactly where it's taken. I always like to look in the background and see the transmission towers and that, but it's probably somewhere, somebody will know somewhere. So if you get a copy of the book, just tell me if you recognize it. Well, we mentioned Crivets before, and Crivets, here's a picture that Mike Hoff took, and here you can see one of those GE units that ran, down the line to, Green Bay and that. They still had a fair amount of business up there. They crossed the old DSS&A at Sidnaw, and obviously we told you already they went through Iron Mountain on the way north and that, and it was the route of the Copper Country Limited and that. But I always look at these as unusual lash-ups, okay? Unusual lash-ups being the fact that, you just didn't see these kind of combinations with a GE unit and a F unit and that. So that's why Mike Hoff took the picture. And here's another Mike Hoff picture. And, you talk about, I remember going up to Horicon, and Horicon used to be a base of operations. There was all kinds of Milwaukee Road lines that emanated from Horicon and that. And one of them went up to, they went to Fond du Lac, they went to Oshkosh, they went to Appleton, and, and all that stuff. Here we see one of the SD9s that they bought, and it's coming into Oshkosh. And one of the things that that I remember about Oshkosh was they had this signal where they crossed the Sioux line, and they crossed the Sioux line, and the track was long gone, but the signal stayed on for years afterwards. I don't know if they were getting charged for electricity or what, but so I told you that I would go back to the east side of Tunnel City. You actually had to walk to go into Tunnel City. And there you can see the eastern tunnel, the mouth. That's where they had the names on the top. And, Mike Schaefer actually told me who those names were one time and that. And, I got them written down somewhere. But here's a classic ABBA set of freight F units. Now, Milwaukee Road had FP units that were in the passenger scheme and that. But I think this might have been a passenger one that was painted eventually in the freight scheme after Amtrak didn't need them anymore. Now, this also was a junction with the Northwestern. The Northwestern, joined the Milwaukee Road, and they ran on their line from Tunnel City all the way up to La Crosse. And just because, they didn't have enough business, and the tunnel at the Northwestern's tunnel at Tunnel City was falling in and that, so they went on this line and that, and I still think today they have a Union Pacific train that runs out of Adams once a week that goes to Winona and back, but they used to have a lot of business. They had a lot of business that went out west. Well, here's one of those F units that are painted in the passenger scheme. The Milwaukee Road just took them, put them right in service without repainting them and that. And this is on the line between Green Bay and Milwaukee. And this is a Mike Hoff picture with one of those sweeping curves. I actually chased the train myself, but Mike Hoff did a good job. Mike, a lot of good pictures from Mike Hoff in the book too, and that.
Where is this from?
I don't know exactly, but it's okay. Chilton. Thank you. I knew it was up there somewhere around there. I never chased it when it was Milwaukee Road, but the Milwaukee Road ran on this, but then Wisconsin Central actually ran on this for a little while, and I chased that. Okay, I do know that this picture is taken just east of Watertown. This used to be one of my favorite spots to take a picture on the line, east of Watertown and that. I don't know if this overpass still stands or not, but you could get off of Highway 16 and drive up there and wait for the train. And here we have a sprint train with, again, a couple of GP40s going in and that. It's a nice shot. I think Pat Malone took this picture here. And, the other thing that gives me mine is all those communication poles and that. Believe it or not, the Milwaukee Road hasn't taken, didn't take their communication lines on. I'm sure they stopped using them. But, even today you can still see some of the telephone poles where they used to, have communication lines strung on them and that. Most people remember Elkhart Lake with what? The auto races, right? And I remember, this depot. I'm not sure if it still stands or not, but they used to have excursions that went up there too, that stopped at Elkhart Lake and went back and that. But here again, you can see a couple of F units. Again, you see a lot of F units on that. I'm glad that it was saved because it's a beautiful station. Okay, well, here we are with some more F units in that, and we're back at Iron Mountain. And, in the background, you can see there's probably some mines back there, but again, you can see them switching these cars, and they actually would take them to Escanaba and would load them out on the northwestern dock. You know, this one gives me pause, just because this was probably a day like today. You can just tell how cold it is. You know, you've got ice on the flanks of the F units, coming down, and this is up on the valley line that went from New Lisbon up north, and I can just feel cold just looking at this picture. And this is a Terry Norton shot, and this is near Tomahawk, and this train is a very long train, and you don't see it anymore, but this train has a lot of logs on it, and they were probably going to Wisconsin Rapids from some of the collection points on the Milwaukee Road, and that. But this Spindley bridge in that, I'm not sure if they still operate up here. It'd obviously be the CN or something. Maybe it's for sale in that. But you can see an Alco unit and an F unit. Talk about unusual lash-ups. Well, we must like crivets, huh? So this one here is a little older one, because this actually shows the original F unit freight scheme, and that, which was a red and orange. You remember you see in some of the previous pictures, they were all solid orange in that. I think they were probably trying to save a little money so they didn't have to paint the thing. But I believe this was as delivered, and you can see a couple more pictures. Again, this picture, probably going north. It's probably going to go all the way up north into Michigan, and that. That's just a beautiful shot. Now, Mike, if you buy this book tonight, or you send Mike an email on that, perhaps where this picture is taken. This picture is, I bought a lot of trade slides from people over the years of Milwaukee Road. There were a lot of people that had extras in that, and I've never been able to find out where this picture is taken. And I've just it's an unusual got SD units, and if you look real closely, you can see there's actually a Northwestern unit. That's actually an ex-Frisco unit. It's not painted in Northwestern colors yet, but does anybody have an idea where this picture is taken? It's probably up in the valley somewhere in that. I tried doing Google Maps on it, and I just couldn't see it in that. So. Here we are up at Iron Mountain again, and this is a Bob Anderson shot. Bob Anderson, Bob's good friend of mine. Over the years, we traded slides. He moved all around. He was a mining engineer. He went to the Michigan Institute of Technology. I don't know if I got that right, but the one that was, and he was a mining engineer, and he had to move around quite a bit. He worked at the Groveland mine, and the Groveland mine was the last operating Milwaukee Road mine on the Milwaukee Road. And this is obviously a freight train that's going through, but Bob had a lot of good friends, and he traded a lot of pictures. Iron Mountain, right? Yeah, Iron Mountain. And you can actually probably see in the background some old iron mines in the background there. Bob lived in that area, and he shot a lot of good pictures. Now, this picture is very unusual because this is the Copper Country Limited at the end of the line in that. And it's very interesting because these engines are actually engines that have steam generators, and they were painted in one time in the yellow, but now they're painted in the orange and black. And this is the Copper Country Limited laying over, and that I actually cheated. This actually wasn't the Milwaukee Road train, but the Milwaukee Road equipment ran all the way up there, and that you can see an RPO there. You can see a couple of storage mail cars in that, and right at the end, this is right at the end, you have a sleeper and a coach. There wasn't much business up there in that. Now, I'm going to tell you this here. This picture, if you actually read the book, it's actually mislabeled because this is actually the train they called the Ford Fast. I think it was train number 203, and it was one of the hot auto parts trains that went up to St. Paul with all the auto parts cars. This is passing to Plainville Tower. The tower's still open. You can see the train order signal. They had a crossover that they could use. This place today, the tower's all gone. They built a connection track to, run the trains, between the Sioux Line and the Milwaukee Road. That's all gone. And that, you've got the CP rail and they got the CN now. But this is a train that always was top priority. How are we doing for time, Michael?
Doing fine.
Okay. Okay, Tom, I think this is one of your pictures. Yep. This is one of Tom's pictures, and they were playing Pittsburgh, I believe, that day. And this was the Pittsburgh Victory Special or something. I don't know.
That's what I call it, but it was a charter.
Yeah, it was a charter. And you can see that this was a train that went to Camp Randall Stadium for, let the people off, and it was only a short walk to the stadium, and then they get back on the train and go back home again and that. But again, you can see there's Milwaukee Road car there, but you can see the Pullmans here and that. Oh, Tom, I think this is the other picture that.
That's the other. I'm looking west.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that, and again, I do believe the train still goes through here, right?
Yes.
The Wisconsin or whatever they call themselves now, Wisconsin Southern, and that. But again, I have to thank Tom because Tom and other people have been so great in sharing their collection with me and that. So, how many of you have the Jim Scribbins book on the Hiawathas and that? I actually have it, and he actually, had a little thing that the Milwaukee Road they called it the meeting of the tribe, and it was really funny. This is at New Lisbon. And the line from New Lisbon, they had a train that came down and connected with the Hiawathas in each direction. And I think they had a local that went into the sidetrack. And it was quite busy for a short time. But this is from the collection of Otto Dobnik. It's a westbound train at New Lisbon. one of the things that, we talked about, the marvels of, all the technology and all that stuff and that, but one of the things that this reminds me of is, this picture by Dave Ingalls, and it's taken at Beloit, and that's the old Southwest Limited train, which at the end of its existence was only a train that ran between Savannah and Milwaukee. And it came up to Sturtevant, and it made all the local stops, and then it went into Milwaukee and then it came back again and that. But this train didn't last too long and that, but this Dave Ingalls shot, it's a beautiful picture. I mean, again, all these pictures are in the book. This is a shot that I believe is taken at Heartland, and I think this might be one of yours, Tom.
That's the Cannonball. I think that one was mislabeled.
Yeah. Well,
It would have been October of '67.
yeah. But one of the unusual things about the Cannonball is the Cannonball, this one actually has an E7 on it, and that the 9B, 19B. Well, it looks like 9B, but you can't read it here. But this picture here, again, the Cannonball, at one time there was a connecting train that ran from Watertown to Madison,